It's the Three Wise Men, everybody. I'm Danny Holbrook alongside Nate Garlock, Miles Holiday. Guys, high school football has taken off. The Three Wise Men have taken off. We're packing shopping malls all over the country.
Because that's what people think of when they think of shopping malls. Brick and mortar. Yep, that's hot right now, Danny.
That's right.
Wow.
It's us and who's that one group that used to pack the shopping malls all the time?
Well, Mouth Trumpet by Danny Holbrook is going to be performing at the Lima Mall this coming weekend.
And unfortunately, it will not help. It will only drive people away.
Guys, we all had great games last week.
Sure
Miles,
did.
Yeah.
You were at Ottawa Glandorf Liberty Bend. You were at Columbus Grove, Pandora, Gilboa.
Yeah.
I was at the Hardin County rivalry, Upper Side of Valley and Ada. 3 great games.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that Pandora-Columbus Grove game has been a rivalry for a long time. They've been playing for over 100 years. You can always tell in these rivalry games, right? The ones that just matter a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was a lot of other storylines going into that. You got a very experienced Pandora Gilboa team coming back. What were those guys going to be able to do after a little bit of a disappointing season last year? Columbus Grove, we knew that there were some questions to be asked about them. Landon Best returning after his injury. Just a lot of things going into that game. And it lived up to the hype. That came down to the wire. 22-21 win by Pandora after they went for a 2-point conversion. So it was a fantastic way to kick off the night. The weather was perfect. We got to be outside calling it. It was a great way to start the year.
Miles, you had a dandy as far as 2 schools with a rich tradition of athletic success. Now, the game didn't turn out the way we wanted it to, but still 2 really good schools to have to go work with.
And Liberty Benton's got a ton of talent, right? The Elkert brothers are fantastic. They just have talent everywhere. I'm telling you right now, their front 7 defensively is good as anyone's front 7 in high school football in Northwest Ohio. They are just rock solid. It's going to be awfully tough for anybody to score against them this year.
Yeah, I had Upper Side of Valley and Ada, and guys, Upper Side of Valley scored first in that game. They went up 6-0, and then it was just a matter of numbers. Upper Side of Valley has 11 kids going both ways, and Ada just wore them down. They ended up winning that game 28-6, but a good game up until halftime, and then the third quarter, Ada just pulled away.
I mean, I think the bigger question is how did you get in and out of there? Because I know that the security wasn't with you like it should be. And anytime you get over that neck of the woods, it is hard to get you in and out of places, safely.
Is that why you take Gilly? He just swats people away?
Actually, I just take Gilly and I just hide behind him, and he takes me through the crowd. He just back and forth, moves his arms. All right, guys, it's time for the Diamond Dave Bowen. Best thing we saw all week. Miles, we'll start with you.
I have a bunch.
I know.
So bear with me.
You've only got a few because the one on the end,
Carly Hutchins at Shawnee, Dar Evergall and I, unbelievable Tuesday night over at Shawnee. Hey, Shawnee, get some air conditioning in that place, please, a little bit. It was really hot
You're
there.
Making friends, Miles.
But the action on the court was even hotter than what the gym was. 2 unbelievable programs. Coldwater, of course, we know, won the state title last year, but Brooke Hutchins' team was up to the task. Great 5-setter. Carly Hutchins in that third set, 17 kills out of the 25 possible points, I think it was. Unbelievable. She was fantastic. Go over to Liberty Benton. Will Granger, number 78, big bulldozer, just moving people around. I'm telling you right now, do not run at number 78. If you run at 78, you're going to get negative yards. He's unbelievable. And then if it's a big play on the offensive side, guess who they're going to run behind? They're going to run behind 78. Talked to him after the game. He was our player of the game. What a well-spoken young man. Fantastic player. Seth Elkert. All right, now I got a visual aid. The kid that's going to play receiver at the University of Toledo, right? He was cramping all night long, had big issues with cramps, but he had this unbelievable catch going in the end zone. Ball is by him, and he catches it one-handed. Let's get the camera here. There we go. Catches it one-handed on the tip of the football with his hand, and then this runs into the end zone. Runs in the end zone. How do you celebrate? He cramped again. It was unbelievable. He had another catch in the first half against OG where he just outjumped 2 guys in the end zone. The kid's a stud. And then when you think he's a stud, you go to his brother, Zach, who's a running back, was in a walking boot all week long. Didn't know if he was going to play up until game time. Was fantastic. Had 3 touchdowns rushing the football. He is unbelievable. Those guys are so good. The atmosphere at Shawnee and LCC, I went and watched that game with Randy Roberts. Electric. It was fantastic. I hope they never move that game from Thursday night because I love that atmosphere. And with all that being said, Nate, what do you have?
Yeah, so for me, I got a couple. One, Ben Burkholder, I talked about the Pandora Columbus Grove game. And, they won that game on his back. In the second half, they had to make some adjustments. They were down 14-0 at halftime. They come out at halftime. They do a really nice job of getting themselves back in there, but it was a lot had to do with him. And then that fourth quarter, they just gave him the football in the Wildcat time and time and time again. He drove them down the field. He ends up getting the game-winning touchdown. He got the two-point conversion as well. He got the two-point conversion to put them ahead. He was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun to watch him just kind of take that game over. And then out in Crestview, a record-setting performance.
Oh, my.
Braxton Leith, the running back for the Crestview Knights, 419 yards, 7 touchdowns.
7 TDs, that's crazy.
It's an insane stat line. Here's another crazy stat off of that, though. 419 yards, 7 touchdowns. You think that's got to be up there, right? Where do you fellas think it ranks in all-time in game or yardage in a game in the state of Ohio?
Oh, it's
well, I know for Crestview he broke Dave Bowen's record, so I know that one.
It's got to be top 20 in the state of Ohio.
What about
top
you?
10.
Okay, 38th.
38.
It's as phenomenal as that performance is. It is now. If you take every game that's ever been played in the state of Ohio since football became a thing, it's still extremely impressive. But I was a little shocked that there were 37 other kids who ran for more in a game.
Carlos Snow, like 528 in a game one time.
Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was phenomenal performance by him and by the Knights in that big win over.
You had to get tired just watching it if you were at that game, right?
Run. Guys, last year in the Upper Side of Valley Ada game, Maddox Underwood and Levi Green, the two quarterbacks for both those schools, many consider those two the best quarterbacks to ever play at those schools. Those two were phenomenal athletes.
They're in the conversation.
Yes, they were replaced this year. Caden Lowry at Upper Side of Valley and Blake Zolaz at Ada. And guys, those two kids looked like seasoned veterans out there. They were phenomenal. Now, Ada won the game 28-6, but both those quarterbacks played with composure. They played like veterans. It was really cool to watch them play. Now, USV lost that game 28-6. They're going to win some games in the Northwest Central Conference. They really are. They've got talented kids. They just don't have the numbers. And Ada, you want to talk about skill position players? They got some good ones. Mm-hmm. They've got the Griffith kid. They've got Zach Zimmerman, the basketball stud out there. Yeah, Colton Dysert running the ball. Zolaz. That's a good Ada team. Unfortunately, they're in the BVC with Liberty Benton for one more year. Liberty Benton moves on. But just to watch those two kids come in and have to replace, you never want to be the guy to replace the guy. Well, let me tell you something. Those two kids, they didn't have any worries. Those are two good quarterbacks in this area. Yeah.
Well, Danny, I want everybody to get a good look at that right there. See, I told you we'd put it at the bottom of the screen right there.
You did.
Yeah, the Three Wise Men. There it is, Three Wise Men, WTLW.com. I want to thank Kelsey Beimer and me and Megan for making this. Great penmanship, right?
Yeah, they wrote on a cardboard.
Go ahead and send any questions we have. Nate, do you want to make your passionate plea like you did last week?
Again.
Camera on Nate, please.
This is real. Okay, this is not a bit. I understand how there might be a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of confusion, especially since it's coming from that end of the table. Okay, but I'm telling you, we want to hear from you guys. Send us your email, send us your questions, send us in your remarks. This is real. This is not a bit. This is not Miles doing Miles things. We want to hear from you guys.
All right, so we have Mike and Brian who already started the train rolling, right? So we're not having a show next week because of Labor Day. But when we come back, we're going to delve into all the questions that we have from the Three Wise Men, WTLW.com.
Ask us anything.
Anything you want.
We're an open book.
Yep. Yeah. We'll ask them. Even Danny's hair care products.
Yes.
Yeah.
My hair care.
All that's on the table. Nate, not so much.
Wow.
It's fair.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
It's interview time here on the Three Wise Men, and we've got a couple of good ones today. Caden Falke from Lyman Central Catholic and head coach Colin Stolly. Guys, thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks. Absolutely. We're going to start with you, Caden. I want to know what the regime change has been like, a brand new coach, a brand new system, and how it's been going. Yeah. Isn't that cool? I'm giving,
like a dictator coming in.
I'm giving Coach Stolly like all this power because I really like him.
Why do we let him talk?
I don't know.
Hey, I get the first question every time.
Regime.
Let's let Caden talk. How about that?
I would say a lot more intensity at practice and really focus on not wasting time and just finishing every play and just everybody's got to do their job at practice and during the game.
Awesome. Coach, we had you on the radio show a couple months ago, and we were so excited. Mm-hmm. Has it been what you thought it was going to be these last couple of months leading up to that big game against Shawnee?
Yeah, I mean, it's been more than I expected. These guys have really bought in from the coaching staff to the players, even down into the junior high. You can really tell those kids are really buying into what we're selling, and I think we're going to be a really good football team because of that.
Danny, I don't know. You're burying the lead. How do you not lead with? You guys won against Shawnee. How amazing was it getting your first win as a
Because
coach?
you've been asked that 14 times the last week.
Sometimes the obvious question's the best one.
You
Coach,
won.
your first one ever. How amazing was it?
Yeah, it was really cool. I was more excited for our players though. We in the past, if we're down at halftime or face some adversity throughout a game, we've tended to kind of fall backwards a little bit and then have to catch up even more. I didn't really see that last Thursday night. We got stopped on our first drive. They go down and score. We come right back with a good drive and score. They score again. We hit a big play and score, and it's 14-13, and then they score again in the first half. Back and forth in the first half, and then, at the halftime it was, you guys, we got to finish this game. We're down one score, get one stop, and then let's, play power football, and that's what we did. And we finished the game, never saw anybody kind of look back. It was always next play mentality. So I was more excited for those guys. Obviously, it's nice to get that first one off my back, but it takes everybody to do that.
Great goal line stand at the end of that game. Absolutely fantastic, right? You're the guy in the middle of the field. They are close. They have an opportunity to win it. You guys stop them stone cold. What was going on defensively during that last second? What, they get down to the 5 at the end? Yeah, at the 5, 7-yard line. Yeah, what was going on? Tell me the mindset. What was going on when you guys were in the middle of the field?
I mean, they were low-key. They were kind of driving against us, but I think as a group, I don't think we were really worried about it. Like, I think that we all knew, because we had a bunch of long third downs where they converted, and I think we all kind of knew that we can get this stop and we can take this game.
You guys did a great job communicating. I mean, nobody was free on those last 4 plays. Was there a coverage change, or you just kind of knew by formation what they were going to do?
Yeah, their formation is a big tell, so you can already kind of like visualize what's going to happen before the play actually starts.
Well, and it's one of those things when you talk about that game as a whole, right? You go in, you're expecting one thing. It's a big rivalry game anyway. Obviously all the extra stuff with it being your first game and new head coach and new systems and all these things. And then you guys get going. JJ Spiker, everybody knows his athletic ability and what he can do. And, all of a sudden your guys are, it's this offensive game back and forth. It's big play after big play. You get into get into halftime for the second half. And obviously you guys had conversations in there. You did a great job with the adjustments coming into the second half, the defense really standing up. But then as you get to that last drive and you got to have that stop, well, now it's a completely different quarterback, right? JJ's out of the game. They bring in somebody else who's more of that pocket passer. What was that like, one as a coach and then Caden as a player, knowing we have to change everything that we've been doing this entire game for this one drive that's, ultimately could end up being the game in which it was?
Yeah, luckily we were able to watch him against Delta St. John's in their scrimmage. So our scrimmage tape that we had of them against St. John's was him playing the whole time. So we knew he's a good quarterback. And they'll be just fine. Hopefully JJ's all right and can play. But they'll be just fine with Brogan. And, he's a sophomore that came out there in a big moment and made some plays for him. So we do have to change. We did have to change what we were doing, but at the same time, it's still, let's be aggressive. Let's get after him a little bit. He hasn't played in a varsity game before, so let's see if we can mix some stuff up. And we went a little bit more man down in the red zone, and I think he was maybe thinking a little zone, and it worked out for us.
All right, now you guys
played. Hold on real quick. For you, Caden, as a player and leader on the field, you see a different style coming in. What's the message you guys are giving to each other, trying to get each other focused on this new challenge?
I think really was like we've been in these big moments before, and that was kind of his first time on the field in a big moment like that. So I think really just being calm and knowing that like we've been here before and we can make a play.
All right, now what's that power set that you guys got into a ton in the second half where everybody knows we're running right there and you're not going to stop us? What's the name of that set?
We either call it Jumbo or Ace. Just depends on if we have an extra lineman in there or a receiver. But, I don't know if this is what I think other people think about LCC football, is that we just have a bunch of athletes and we're not very physical.
That's what
and very
Nate always
tough.
says. Yeah.
But
somebody from Delphus over there.
We take a lot of pride. Yeah.
Well, you can't stop it.
Yeah, you can know it's coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, we're running the ball right here behind Caden and J.J. Schneiders and Don McKee and Brady Malcolm.
Some good
and
ones.
then you got Carter Lester and Eddie White leading through the hole, and then your quarterback who's 195 pounds. Is right. We're running it right here, so if you can stop us, we'll tip your
Caden, what's that feel like? When your will is just pounding on somebody and you know they can't stop you and it's coming every time. That's got to be an unbelievable feeling, right?
Yeah, it's pretty fun to just look at the same guy over and over and just go blow him up.
How cool is it though when you look across and they know what you're in, and you can kind of see that look in their eye, like, oh no, here we come again, and you guys finish it, and then you move that pile 3-4 more yards. How much fun is that?
It's really fun. You can kind of see the look in their eyes, and they know they have to go right here again, and you just get to meet them right there. So it's pretty fun.
Coach, it was your first game as the head coach. How different was it? You've been in the program a long time, but you're the man now. I mean, was there ever a time in that game where you're sitting there thinking, oh, wait, I got to make these decisions, and this game's getting real tight?
You know, a lot of people think that, and I was actually telling my wife this. You know, the head coach makes decisions during games, but so many times I'm asking my assistants.
I love that.
You know, hey, what do you guys want to do here? Flipping over to the defensive side of the ball. What do you guys want to do here? Do you want to take a timeout? You guys want to let it run? That last timeout we took on 4th down, that was all Coach Westenbarger's idea. You know, let's get them lined up and see what they want to go into, go down and call a timeout. But before we scored our last touchdown, I have Ryan Betts in my ear saying, hey, make sure we're ready to go for 2 when we score here to go up by 3. It doesn't help us to be up by 2. So those types of decisions, when you surround yourself with really good coaches, which I have, become really easy because I got 9 other guys that I can rely on.
Answer.
Yeah, it's all about the staff. It really is.
And you know, you talk about your staff. You got a lot of good coaches that have a lot of experience, but you also have a really experienced team and a lot of guys who have been playing a lot of varsity minutes. Is there a collaboration there as well, where these guys are giving you input, you're taking things from them that they're seeing and relaying that through the coaching staff and making calls off that?
Yeah. So when I first got hired, one of the first messages I gave to the guys was champions find a way. Like, if you want to win big games, we can't be out there as coaches with you. You need to figure it out. Like, we're running 15 lead right here behind you guys. If they put 10 guys right there, figure it out. Like, we got to get 3 yards here. And I think the players have really adapted to that and have taken on that responsibility upon themselves when they're out on the field. Like, no one else is out here besides our 11 and their 11, and if we can figure it out more than their 11, we'll be just fine.
I love that you included all your assistant coaches in making a decision, but at the end of the day, you go for 4th down and you don't get it. They're not saying, well, this is assistant coaches that decided that, right? That's on you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to go back. I think it was your second drive, 4th and 4 around midfield. They just scored, and you went for it.
4th and 9.
You went for it, and you picked it up.
Yeah.
What goes into that decision early in that game?
It goes back to a lot of learning from Coach Paldy, honestly. I mean, you can't really waste drives when you're down in your own territory and being aggressive. We have a play call for every situation, and I feel like we prepare enough throughout the week and go through situations that when we get in those situations, we feel comfortable in them. Then obviously, you hope your guys go make a play, and we made a couple more plays the other night than Shawnee did, and we ended up winning. But in those situations, you have to take a risk if you want to win big games, and I think that's what we did. We couldn't go down 14-0. That would have been tough. We got to go get 7 there, and our guys executed.
Okay, Caden, you got a big win over Shawnee. You got a tough schedule ahead of you. St. John's coming up this weekend. One team on your schedule that you want to beat every year.
Ooh.
Probably Grove for sure. That's
okay.
a game we all look forward to.
Yeah, they're the king right now, and if you're going to win the Northwest Conference, you got to beat Grove, right?
Yeah.
It's stacked. Grove, Bluffton, Crestview. I mean, it's a really good conference this year. It's going to be tough, right?
Yeah, we really got to focus on each game at a time and just focus on each week. So.
And how do you guys manage that, like, as players? I know what the coaches speak is, and I know, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's you and the guys in the locker room, and you guys know what's going on. You guys know what's happening in the league with your non-conference games. You also know that you guys have a very experienced group. You guys have been together a long time. You guys have a lot of guys who have been playing football for a really long time. When you have an experienced team like this and you have the expectations that you guys have as a program, as you guys as players, what do you guys talk about to keep your guys' self kind of focused and not looking ahead and not talking about what we could do? We got to talk about what we're going to do.
I really think just focusing like each week on each opponent and then whether we get the job done or not, we flush everything, and it's just on to a new week. We're resetting, just restarting from where we left off.
Now, I want to go back to the game. One of the weirdest things I've ever seen. And you know what I'm talking about, right? The 25-minute dissertation with the rule book. I don't want to go into it. I don't want you to rip on the officials, but I want to point out how disciplined you guys were, because to the credit of Shawnee, that's a long time to wait, right? And they go out and they try to draw you guys off sides. You didn't jump, and they have to call timeout. Walk me through the whole process of reminding you guys everything, because it was a long time before we snapped the football, how to stay focused. Walk me through that.
Well, the first thing is the officials came up to me after this happened at halftime and apologized, for the pause. And I said to them, in the first half, there was a 3rd and 6 where I tried to throw the ball, and I should have probably ran lead and got it to 4th and 2.
Right.
We all make mistakes throughout games, and they got it right. At the end of the day,
you're
they got it right, and
me.
that's what you. I mean, that's what you want.
He really is.
You want them to get it right, so they had to take their time, and they're not going to be perfect either. So, but at the same time, us individually, again, goes back to, hey, champions find a way. You got to figure it out, right?
Yeah,
So this is happening. How do you deal with it? Like, you can't change it. So our guys being ready to go and locked in, like, we got a football game to play. So when it starts back up, we're staying right where we're at, and we're ready to go.
Can we steal that? Champions find a way. Nate, when you're going to eat that second cheaperburger, champions find a way.
It's right there. Listen,
there.
I think it's funny that you think you have to remind me of that. I've yet to have a problem getting the second cheeseburger. I don't need to be wheeled through it, big guy. Yeah. We're fine. We're fine.
Let's remind the audience the Jazzercise Miles here. Coach, do you like the fact that you guys are the lead game every year now? I love that rivalry with Shawnee, and you guys playing on I love the Thursday night games. Everybody in the area. I mean, Miles didn't even call the game, and he was at the game.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's so much fun. We're the only game in Lima. I know there's other games around.
Yeah.
But we're the only game in Lima, and it gives a chance for the community to come out and watch us, watch Shawnee, and then kids get to go enjoy a high school football game. If every game's on Friday night, you just go play in your own game. You don't get to go watch any games. Yeah. So I think it's just another way to get kids more involved in football in the community, but also it's really cool for our kids to be able to go play in front of a packed crowd every year, week 1. I mean, it's like a playoff atmosphere from the get-go.
Yeah, now you guys are kind of staggered. You play your first game on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Now you're playing on a Saturday afternoon. Is that did you pretty much keep the same plan each week?
We try to, but I mean, we're used to playing on Saturdays or traveling a long way. We've done that for a long time. Obviously not now that we're in the league, but we played on Friday or on Thursday. Friday gave the guys the day off. We came to school, go watch a game tonight, go have fun, come back in Saturday morning, we'll lift. There's a JV game. Then today, school, and then kind of a fundamental practice, and we'll treat Tuesday like Monday, Wednesday like Tuesday.
Okay.
Just bump everything back.
Okay, you strike me as a guy, it doesn't matter what time the football game is. You're just going to be happy to play football. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Saturday afternoon, no big deal for you, huh?
yeah, maybe a little bit just because of the Ohio State game.
You got it out. You got it, boy.
He was working on it. Miles was working on it.
Hey, I better not see a cell phone out at halftime. What's the score?
There we go. Coach, the Buckeyes are up.
Yeah.
That's got to be tough, right? You're an Ohio State fan, and they're playing at the same time as you are.
Yeah, but we got to get the job done first. So.
Like that. Champions find a way,
linebacker
right?
mentality.
Champions find a way.
That's right.
All right, you got some questions?
I do. Some rapid fire.
Has
Okay.
Nothing to do with this interview yet.
All right, guys. I've gone to see you guys many times on the road, and visiting announcers, they say Thunderbirds, T-Birds. Which one is it for you guys? Is it Thunderbirds, T-Birds? Which one do you prefer?
I think T-Birds is just easier. I don't think it really matters, but T-Birds.
I'd say T-Birds, but I hear Thunderbirds a lot.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. All right. Number 2. This is just for you, Coach. All right. Troy, Carson, or Brady? Who's the best athlete of all those?
Oh gosh.
Don't worry. They don't watch. It's fine, Coach.
Like right now, or like if when they
Well,
were
we know
both
right now,
sophomores.
right? Yeah, when they were both younger,
I
or
think
all three are younger.
I think Brady's a little bit more athletic than Carson, but Carson just had that dog mentality in him that Brady's working on. He's getting there, definitely getting there. But I would say Brady's more athletic in this moment right now.
And Troy's a distant third.
Yeah, I don't know about Troy. He always talks.
Yeah.
He talks about he was athletic, but I'd never seen it, so I can't.
All right, now, Caden, this is for you only. Are beards cool?
I'll say yeah.
I'm telling you for years, Miles.
Even though you can't grow.
It's coming in slowly.
I love the sideways look first. Yeah, that was real cool. All right, for both of you guys, what's the best pregame meal that you love?
I don't know, because I really don't like to eat a bunch for a game.
What about the night before? You got a favorite team meal?
We have one of the football players' uncle will come and make some steaks and baked potatoes, so I'll probably say that.
Yeah. Coach?
Last week we had the Reapinoff family's famous pasta and meatballs. It was very good.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, it was really good, and breadsticks. Our team meals are really, really nice. Our parents do a great job.
You guys didn't bring us Chipotle today.
Sorry.
You didn't invite us to these nights. All right, for both of you guys, what's the most annoying thing that you have to deal with football?
Media like you.
Yeah. yeah. Feel free to use that one.
I think you should go first.
I think the biggest thing about football, the thing that doesn't bother me the most, but it's just part of it, is missing time with family throughout the football season. I think that's the hardest part. That's the most annoying part is how much I got to miss.
Yeah. I'll let you off the hook on that one. All right, last one for you. If you could coach in the T-Bird mascot outfit and play in the T-Bird mascot outfit, would you do it?
Why not? Sure.
Yeah, just got a lot of protection up here. So.
Could you imagine how big that helmet would be? That'd be great.
Well, I heard you last week. You guys were saying that looked really mean all the time.
Yeah.
Last week,
it's the beard. It's the beard. That's what it is.
It's just the bald beard look. That's just how they are.
Hey guys, for you both of you answer this. What does success look like this year? And look, I know we all talk about state championships and even Northwest Conference championships. What does success look like for you? We'll start with you, Caden.
I think doing the little things and just the stuff that people don't see, like the stuff behind the curtains. I think doing that stuff right and with all your effort is what success looks like.
How do you not love coaching a guy like this?
He's great.
I'm telling you,
Seriously,
man.
When I first took the job, those are the types of things that, him as a leader of the team and the other seniors, those are the things that they really wanted to focus on.
College juniors and seniors say that.
I mean, they get it. They understand. Like you said,
stuff,
they played a
man.
lot of
I
high
like
school
that.
football. So.
Yeah, he's going to be playing on Saturdays, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
He absolutely.
How about you, Coach? I know everybody wants the 10, 11, 12, 13 win seasons. What's success look like?
No, I think today we talked about it after school. It's always just about us. I mean, at some point, every weekend you got to go play somebody else. But if we give our best effort every single game and do what we're supposed to do every single game, we'll compete and have a chance to win every game. So I think focusing on us and making sure that we're doing stuff right, not only on the football field but in the community, making sure that LCC football has a great reputation throughout the community, throughout the other coaches in the community. I think that's success, being able to, hold your head high and say, I'm proud to be a part of this program.
If we put two cones out right now in a football and we had the Oklahoma drill, you two against these two, who's winning?
I don't know. With him, I would take us.
You're a little nice. You don't know who's going to win that.
I'll blow the whistle to get it started.
He has no hair. My hair's gray. We're both 60 pounds overweight, and Miles asked that question. Caden's going, I'll take that.
I like Caden's look. He's like, are you kidding me?
I'd blow these guys up. Well, guys, congratulations on your big win.
Thank you.
Good luck against Delphos St. John's.
Thanks.
Thanks so much for coming in and spending time with us.
Thanks for having us. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
everything you guys do for the community and the high school athletes around it. It means a lot.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's get right into it. How about that? Let's talk about football.
You're really bringing the energy.
I
like
know,
it.
right? I know. Yeah. WSN schedule for week number 2. Game 1, Friday night. Findlay at Lima Senior. Randy Robertson, Miles Holiday on the call. Boy, guys, Findlay took one on the chin, 38-7 by Pine Richmond. Senior High gets by Piqua, 12-7. And Nate, that's not a score I'm used to seeing with Senior High, only 12 points. They usually have that in the first 2 drives.
Yeah, and if you look at that and you're a Lima Senior fan, you might be a little concerned, you might be a little worried, what's going on? There was some turnover in the offense. You still have Janias Hall at quarterback. You still have a lot of playmakers over there. But what you should be looking is optimistic. Yes, they only scored 12 points. But they won a defensive battle. They had to shut Piqua down. And that was the one thing coming with the Spartan team. We weren't sure if this team was going to be able to play defense. and they did that against Piqua.
Yep.
And if you are a
Ran
Spartan
the ball a little
faithful,
bit, too.
and if you're a Spartan faithful, you've got to be happy to see that this team has got a defense now as well to go along with that offense. That it's not going to get shut down every week. It's just too explosive.
Let me ask you guys this question: how much did the black helmets play a factor in the lack of 12 points?
I think they're okay.
You think so? You think it wasn't the black helmet that stopped them?
No,
right?
I think they're okay.
Oh, I want to make sure that.
You just keep poking, don't you?
I love that one. That's great. Yeah. But Pine Richland, okay, they put one on Findlay. Now, this is a great Pennsylvania team. 3 state titles in the last 8 years, so it's going to be tough to say, well, Findlay's not very good. Now, they did struggle. They couldn't move the football against Pine Richland, but a lot of people in Pennsylvania, they have that problem as well. So it'll be an interesting mix to find out what exactly we're going to see out of a Findlay team who played 3 different quarterbacks. Have they settled on a quarterback? We don't know. I thought it'd be Riley Korkos, 5'11", 18 yards. Not impressive stuff. They played 2 other kids at quarterback. Who's it going to be for Findlay? We don't know. How much, too, though, the 12 points that were scored by Senior, how much of that was the fact that the kicker that they had the last year with all the great onside kicks no longer with them? That was such a big part of what Senior did a year ago. Now they're having to kick the ball a little bit deeper. Think of how many times they got extra possessions off of onside kicks.
Yep.
Miles, this is a rivalry game. We call it the I-75 rivalry. You think Findlay's going to get up for this game coming down to Lima Senior?
Especially after Boog Wilson beat him last year, right?
Right.
Boog was absolutely unbelievable, but good news for Findlay. Boog graduated and moved on.
Yeah. No, it'll be – Spartan Stadium is going to be absolutely packed, and it is going to be a fantastic atmosphere. It's going to be Lima Senior's home opener. This is the big rivalry, like you said. It is going to be a great atmosphere and a great game for sure.
Well, the one thing that I like for Senior, though, okay, we talked about the quarterback issues for Findlay, played 3, don't really know who's going to be the quarterback. Not so much over at Senior, though.
Janias Hall's the man.
Chris Howell and I went to their scrimmage against Bellefontaine. We wanted to see Rain St. Clair because the talk about him being fantastic, and he's a good quarterback, but he was not the best quarterback on that football field that day. It was Hall. I mean, he threw a post pass about 50 yards in the air that was fantastic. I love that kid's makeup. He's going to play somewhere on Saturdays, and he's going to be big on Friday night.
Well, speaking of rivalry games, guys, Game 2 gives us another rivalry in the Western Buckeye League. Salina at Wapakoneta. Myself and Darren Gilbert will be on the call for this. Salina really got beat by St. Henry 31-7, and Wapak got a big win over Clay 28-7. I think more people were expecting Clay to be in that game, and it was a closer game, but Wapak pulls away. Guys, a rivalry is one thing, but these 2 rosters right now are just a little uneven. Wapak has a huge advantage.
St. Henry, big senior-laden team. Yeah. Charlie Whirling, of course, we know what he can do with the football. He had over 100 yards last Friday. Everybody was talking about Clay being a good football team, but let's not forget that Heinschel moved on.
Yeah, he's at Pitt.
He's at Pitt. He's not playing there anymore. So,
he's a Division I quarterback.
So Wapakoneta, I thought, should win that game handily, and they did, 28-7. And just kind of one of those ho-hum victories for them, right? Just complete passes, 9 of 11. They carried the football for big yardage, throw it outside to your big receiver, play good defense. It's just what Wapakoneta does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it goes back to what you're talking about with the quarterback as well from Oregon, Clay. You know, new quarterback this year, who is
he's a dandy.
Well, and we saw him last year over in Findlay. You know, he put up some big numbers for them. So I did think that Clay would be a good challenge, especially at the quarterback position for this Walpock defense. And honestly, it's just kind of a rinse and repeat for this Walpock team. We saw they were the best defense in the Western Buckeye League last year. They look like they're going to pick up right where they left off. In Salina, it's a little bit hard to get a bit of a read because everybody expected St. Henry to be a really good football team this year. And so far, that's all, holding form. And, they may be one of the best teams in the MAC. So if you're a Salina team that's having to replace some really big positions, especially on that line, you're missing some guys, figuring some things out. That was a tall task against St. Henry. They get an opportunity now. It doesn't get any easier, but they get to go to Walpock. They get a little bit more feel for who they are. It's another tall task for them, but, I think this is a chance where they can kind of show a little bit of growth as well.
Salina has issues replacing a lot of guys that played a lot of big
Bobby
minutes.
Morris,
a lot of guys that played a lot of minutes last year for them. And also, they got to figure out how not to turn over the football and play good special teams. A pick six cost them last week, and a punt return cost them. So going into a game against Wapakoneta when you have a lot of question marks, I like Wapakoneta.
Let me ask you guys this. You guys have all coached. We've all coached. When you get into a rivalry game like this, do you bring up the fact that, hey, guys, if they get momentum, this is a rivalry, or do you just let that go because the kids know it's a rivalry game?
Yeah, I mean, I think at a certain point, if it's a true rivalry game, there are certain things that you don't have to talk about.
Yeah, if you're talking about the rivalry the week of the rivalry, you're not living the rivalry right.
Well,
yeah.
You and I grew up in the John Cooper era where he never talked about that's just one school of thought.
Yeah, when he tried to make the Michigan rivalry not as big as it should be,
right.
You're living it wrong, right? We didn't defeat the Soviet Union by ignoring the Soviet Union, Nate.
Yeah, I'll just pass it. All right, guys, we got a showdown in the Western Buckeye League for Game 3 Friday night. Van Wert at Elida. Mark Shine, Jerry Snodgrass, the best-dressed duo here at WOSN. Those guys are looking smooth.
I thought it was early 1980s ESPN.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Van Wert got a 42-7 win over Bryan last week, and Elida thumped Rogers 38-7. Both teams come in undefeated.
Yeah, and I think you're talking about two teams, too, that are coming off of playing games where, it wasn't maybe the most challenging on their schedule. Bryan, a struggling program. Toledo Rogers, same thing. So it's kind of hard to know where they're at. I do think that Zach Cromie looked really good taking over the quarterback position for Van Wert, 12 of 17, over 200 yards passing. He had 2 TDs. He also rushed for 87 yards and 2 more touchdowns. It's a heck of a stat line. And, it's one of those things where you talk to people in Van Wert, and they've been very excited about him and what he can do and what he can bring to this offense, and feeling like, hey, we're getting the quarterback position back to where maybe it was 3 or 4 years ago when we saw them make those deep playoff runs, win a state title. And, I think that he kind of passed, his first eye test. I think there's a lot more questions about Elida because of all the turnover. They also had to replace their quarterback. We know about the loss with Amari Wash as well. Parker Krim didn't play in that game.
Snyder played well at quarterback.
And they look good. And even with a Toledo Rogers team that we know is down, Elida they could have played down, or they could have had excuses to not be at their best. They came out, I thought, the highlights that I saw from people I talked about, Elida looked good. They looked efficient. Yeah. Things looked really good in that program. So I am very interested in this one. I think this is going to be a lot better game than maybe it initially looked on paper prior to the season.
Miles, this is a game that when you look at this, you've got two schools. Whoever gets the win here, it could propel them to big things this season. Both these schools coming off tough seasons.
Well, Elida, we keep waiting, right? Year in, year out. Yeah. Where's their big signature win? Is it going to be this week? They talked during the offseason, we're going to move Parker Krim around. Well, you better do that this week because there's
I'd let him play wherever he wanted.
all kinds of weapons for Van Wert. You brought up Crummy. Absolutely love the kid, man. His talent just jumps off the field. Xavier Kelly, Keaton Welch, Micah Cowan, all big play guys. How do you stop that big offense from being explosive? Cam Kaufman had over 100 yards rushing. That's what Elida's going to have to do. They're going to have to use Parker Krim and some of the other guys on the defensive side to limit what Van Wert does in the run game, force him into predictable throwing downs, and then unleash Parker Krim to go get him. And on the offensive side, Snyder's going to have to make some big third down throws if the run game's not working. But if Kaufman has a big run night, that's how Elida stays in this one.
Guys, Game 4, Friday night, Marion Local at Crestview. Surprise, surprise, Dave Bowen on the call for this one.
What, Dave on a Crestview game?
On a Crestview game,
No.
And Josiah Stober. Guys, this is a big matchup for Crestview. They scored 62 points last week against Parkway. They win that game 62-41. Marion Local ho-hum 56-0 on South Adams. Guys, if Crestview can put up 62 against Marion Local, I'll be shocked, but that would go a long way in that season for the Knights.
Marion Local should come with a big banner that says, "We ain't Parkway." Let them know right away when we walk in.
I think Crestview knows that, but nonetheless, kudos for Crestview for scheduling these guys.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You got to give Crestview a ton of credit. This is not a game that they had to take. Marion Local had an opening. They were looking for somebody to fill it. Nobody wanted it. They were shying away. Everybody knows what Marion Local is doing right now, and Crestview said no. If we got to be able to play against teams like this. They took on that challenge, and they are going to challenge themselves. Now, listen, we all want to give the normal talk that goes on this, right? And
You're trying to be so right.
At the end of the day, right now, Marion Local is the cream of the crop.
65 in a row.
Until somebody proves them differently. They get the benefit of the doubt.
Look out,
we all know that
record could fall.
But
right?
I'll tell you what. How do you beat a dominant team that can seemingly has no weaknesses? You have to control the clock, right?
Yeah.
You have to keep the ball out of their hands.
Crestview's big up front.
And they are coming off a game where they had over 400 yards rushing. You can try to milk that clock. You can try to shorten that game, keep the ball out of their hands, and give yourselves a chance. they have some of the pieces
They don't make mistakes.
to be able to do that. Now, it's going to be up to Crestview to execute, and that's why you go out and play the game. But I do like the fact that Crestview has shown that, hey, we can rush, we can be a run-heavy team, we don't have to put it in the air, because the last thing you want to do is be playing from behind, have to throw the ball over the place, have incompletion, stop the clock, make the game longer, and give Marion Local extra possessions.
Well, Crestview also loves to run a quick screen game, right? So mix that in with a run on first down, throw it out there. Maybe you're going to wear down that Marion Local defense by winning on first down, shorten the game like you said. But if I'm Crestview, you know what I do? I don't schedule this. I find wins. I schedule wins, baby. In 20 years from now, nobody cares who you beat. They just want to know what your record was.
But guys, Crestview kids have got to feel good about going in this matchup, because I'm sure the coaches
it's a measuring stick,
I'm
right?
sure the coaches are telling them the same thing. We took this game because we feel confident in you guys. Let's go out there and prove it and just play the best we can. And he's right, though. If they run the ball and they can keep it out of Marion Local's hands, which is a big if.
In all fairness, I said that.
Oh, you said that.
I mixed in the screen.
I said that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said they were big up
listen,
front.
Listen, Crestview, they think they're ready to take that next step, right, and contend for an NWC title. To do that, there are some very talented teams in the NWC as well. This is a good measuring stick for them. To know where they're at.
You don't want to get hurt, though, right? You don't want to get hurt going into those.
Listen, we got faith in Crestview.
You guys are saying, Miles and I are saying Crestview's got a chance.
Yet again, are you okay?
I love Crestview.
Are you all right?
I love Crestview.
I don't know where we're going. I'm back and forth.
Now listen, with all that being said, though, one of the things that we have to talk about is
He's the absolute worst.
You love Brennan Hess, the
I do.
quarterback, right? We
Yeah.
got to see him finally. We saw him on the sideline all last year, warming up on the sideline. We're like, this kid's gonna be a monster. He's gonna be well. All he did was 9 of 11, 203, and 2 TDs in a shortened.
Try tackling the kid.
Yeah,
he's huge.
He is going to be a big problem for everybody. Yet another issue for Marion Local when you play them.
Well, guys, I can tell you this. Game 5 is going to be a big problem for St. Mary's, because Friday night, Bath travels to St. Mary's. Garrett Seawright, Jack McGuire on the call. Guys, this Bath team beat Indian Lake 50-21. That's not the significant part. The significant part is they had 614 yards of total offense, and they had 4 touchdowns of 39 yards or more. This is an offense that is just explosive. And you look at St. Mary's, they're coming off a loss where Gallion pretty much did what they wanted, beat them 35-6.
Yeah, it makes you wonder about St. Mary's, right? Is
Yeah.
it the year that they started 0-5 a couple years ago and then finally figured things out? Normally, I would say Bath, this is a tough matchup for them, but this St. Mary's offense does not look like they're in midseason form yet. Only their top rusher with only 93 yards, and that was Caleb Schmidt. Styles make fights, though, right, Nate? So if they can run the football and be real physical, all of a sudden that explosive Bath offense can't score.
And I think that's going to be the key, right? That offense for Bath. And listen, they played an Indian Lake team that came off of a deep tournament run last year. Yep. This was not, one of those week 1 matchups where it was a team scheduling down, trying to get an easy win or anything like that. This was a good measuring stick, like we just talked about Crestview. This is a great measuring stick for Bath, and they passed this test with flying colors. We knew that offense would be good. It was, are we going to see another year of shootouts where they have to outscore people? The defense held up, and they're going to have to do it again. Now, the only issue Bath could run into is we have seen this St. Mary's team. You know what's coming. You know the offense they're going to play.
Trap,
you know what's going to
buck
happen.
Sweep,
and
belly.
it's going to run that clock.
Yep.
If you're off, and Bath has some incompletions or they have some penalties, they get behind the sticks.
They had a lot of penalties on Friday night.
And then all of a sudden they're giving the ball back to St. Mary's. St. Mary's can bleed that clock. So Bath is going to be very disciplined, and they're going to have to be on their A game, because this isn't going to be a walk in the park. This is still St. Mary's.
Yes.
And they still have that ability to beat anybody on any Friday night.
Nate, I don't know if you've met him before, but this is Miles Holliday. It's also Bath offensive coordinator Grant Sherman's agent.
I love the guy.
He loves this guy. He's pushing for Grant Sherman to be a new head coach, because this offense is explosive, and Sherman's the orchestrator.
Hey, Sherman marches through defenses. You like that? You like
Glad
that?
the camera's on you.
Yeah, Grant Sherman, and give a lot of credit to Frank Russell, their head football coach, because he will just let Grant Sherman, he calls him the mastermind of the offense. How many head coaches try to be micromanagers, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happens a lot. Kudos over there. Grant Sherman has done a great job. He has made an offense around, now arguably some of the best skill talent in the area, right? But he's smart. He uses those guys in a smart way. It all starts with Zach Welch. What a game he had last week. Over 400 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing, and that's without getting Mikey Hale really involved in the offense. I don't know how you stop this offensive group.
You look at Grant Sherman, and he and Bill Lawrence, the head coach at Lima Senior, they're both from the Mike Mock tree of coaching. They both run those wide out spread offenses, and they sling the ball down the field.
Well, and Zach Welch just looks so in control of that offense.
He does.
Now you gave him another year. He's that much more comfortable.
He looks really good.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous thing when you're playing Bath.
What also is dangerous? The word trust. And this is something that they're using around. Daniel Cole talked about it after their big win. They trust each other. They trust the receivers to be in the right spot. They trust Zach Welch to put the ball in the right spot. When you have that trust in a football team that's in your culture, man, there's nothing you can't accomplish.
Guys, Game 6, Saturday. Lima Central Catholic at Delphos St. John's. Nate Garlock, Kelsey Beimer on the call. Lima Central Catholic got that exciting 22-19 win over Shawnee, and St. John's falls to Cindy Lehman 56-35. Now, Miles, am I correct? There's some injuries in the St. John's camp for this week.
That's what we're hearing. The quarterback position is up, trying to figure out what they're going to do right there. They're coming off a really tough loss. I mean, a really bad loss where they gave up a ton of points, and then you got to go into this one finding out if we're going to have a quarterback or not. That does not bode well.
LCC, St. John's, big rivalry game, Saturday afternoon. This is a spotlight game for these guys. And when you talk about a rivalry game, even with potential quarterback position up for grabs, these rivalry games, things are just different. And LCC, back-to-back rivalry games. Shawnee, big rivalry game for them. Big-time atmosphere, standalone game. Now they have to come back and do the same thing on a Saturday afternoon against the St. John's team. This game last year was a 14-13 game, came down to it. A really tough matchup that I think a lot of people last year also thought LCC would go in and be able to handle with relative ease. And St. John said, no, you still have to come and play us.
Yeah,
and we saw how difficult
Delphos
St. John's is. They didn't have a ton of wins last year, but they ended up in a regional final. This is not a program to overlook or to think that just because they have some adversity, they're going to roll over and just let you walk in and win this one easily. That won't happen. Delphos St. John's will be ready. Coach Schulte has coached too many football games and won too many games.
He's a good one, isn't he?
Good coach,
just because they have some issues right now that they're not going to be ready to go. And LCC knows that. They're not going to overlook this one. Their first 3 games very difficult. Shawnee, this St. John's, and then they still have Cary looming as well. LCC is going to come. They're going to be ready to go. So I expect this one to be a very, very good game.
If you're LCC, you can't overlook the fact that St. John's put up 35 against a really good Lehman team.
Absolutely.
I mean, they can score the football, Miles.
All right, so you're missing your quarterback, right?
We don't know if that's
okay.
Right.
But if you are, then you figure out, well, what are we going to do offensively? Well, they're big up front: 240, 220, 185, 295, and 220. So there's your recipe, right? You got a good running back and Riley Mueller coming back. You just box that LCC defensive end, and you just try to run the football, shorten the game like Nate said, and some of the other games also. It's a tough ask, though, because it's a really good LCC team. I love their activity. They're really good up front as well. I don't want to run at Caden Falke, right? He's a great linebacker. Plus, how about this guy, Giante Davis? Have you seen this cat play football yet? He just runs around and just hits people randomly for no reason. I love it. He loves the
within the rules of the game, right?
Yes. But when
you said he just runs around hitting people. I wish I could do that on this show.
Football. It's a physical game. He loves to run and hit people. However, all right, Michael Quatman, so electric on the offense.
Career game.
You better rep that tunnel screen that they run about 100 times and try to take that away, because if you don't, he is scoring a touchdown on it. And then last thing, DNK. What does DNK mean? Do not kick. Do not kick it to Flores. When you're playing LCC, do not kick it to that cat, because he will make you pay.
Miles Shawnee didn't kick it to him one time, and he went and got it.
He took it.
He went and got it.
I think the contributions of Michael Quatman too just can't be overstated in that game. When you watch him, even if you saw the replay, his speed doesn't come through. When you watch him in person, he doesn't need a lot of space. He can put his foot in the ground and change directions really quickly. I mean, he is going to be a game changer for this LCC team.
Got to give him the ball more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he is quicker than a hiccup.
That's a good one, Miles. All right, guys, with all that being said, what did we learn from week 1 of high school football in the state of Ohio?
Oh, boy, what I learned was an impressive Liberty Benton front seven. Boy, they are just Scott Arnold, their defensive coordinator. They have 4 big blocks of granite up front, good linebackers behind it. It is going to be awfully tough in the BVC to score points, and you know that Liberty Benton offense is going to score points, so it's going to be awfully tough to beat Liberty Benton.
So I learned that all of the speculation that maybe the MAC conference is going to be down, it was super wrong.
That's a good one, Nate.
They go 8-3. They are dominant in almost every game that they won, running clock in almost every single one of them.
They didn't stop playing football.
Somehow Minster has to replace their entire team, and they go out and they win big. The MAC just continues to do MAC things, and any chance that we thought maybe this might be a down year in the MAC, I think we got proven in week 1. We're probably wrong. And the other one is, one of Miles's favorite complaints, right, is, the football season, we start so early, it's hot.
Cramps.
No, I say we don't give them enough time to prep.
What I learned is that high school kids just don't drink enough water.
No.
Because even on a 60-degree night, we had a lot of cramping issues. And I just think it's one of those things where, all these kids, they live in the weight room now. It's just different. All of them are 0% body fat, it seems like. And, it doesn't matter. Once you get out there and you get going, these kids are pushing themselves to the limit. And these cramping issues in the early season are just a part of their bodies.
Next time Dr. Danny's on the show, we should ask him that. He will give you the medical. Yeah.
I'm going to say
don't ask Hard Rock Holiday. That guy.
Yeah. What was my brother doing here last week?
Nothing.
Last thing for you, though.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave this out. Colin Stolly was prepared.
Yep.
Everybody had that question going into his first game. He was ready for a big 4th down decision. He was ready for halftime where it looked like, Shawnee's going to go ahead and steal this one. His guys were under control. He was well prepared for this football game. He did a great job coaching in his first game. And I know the nerves. He said it wasn't that big a deal. The nerves are there, right? Yeah. So he did a great job overcoming that.
Let me tell you what I learned was the fact that, and I never really thought about this, all the games I've ever been to, when I was sitting there Friday night and I'm watching those 2 new quarterbacks for Upper Side of Valley and Ada play, and then I'm thinking about your game, Columbus Grove, and all the kids they replaced, and then I'm thinking about your game, all these schools, all they do, the really good programs, it doesn't affect them. The next guy steps in and they just continue going on, and it's so cool to watch these freshmen and sophomore get their chance. Because at the big programs, freshmen and sophomore don't get to play much, At the smaller schools, they do because they need them. And that's okay. And so either way's fine. But you watch these kids and these athletes that take the time to develop in the weight room, take the time to develop in the classroom, take the time to listen to their coaches, and then develop as juniors and seniors. It's beautiful. It really is.
Well, and I really do think that it speaks to, we talk about all the time about how lucky we are with the sports that we have in Northwest Ohio and how many good players we have and how many good teams we have. I think sometimes what gets overlooked is how many good coaches we have. Because you can have some of the greatest athletes in the world, but if you don't have good coaching to know what to do with them and to keep them focused and to keep them working hard and to work on all the other aspects of their game, it doesn't matter how good of an athlete they are. You're still not going to win. Being able to develop players is a skill. Not everybody can do it. That's why despite what everybody in the stands thinks, they're not all coaches. And you have to give credit to these coaches. When you can see these schools and these programs just replace. There isn't a rebuild, it's a reload, and they got guys ready to step in and that they are, being able to perform at the same levels as the guys that they're replacing, sometimes even better. To me, that speaks a lot to the coaches that they have in these systems.
Think about this, though, okay? If you're a freshman in a really good program and you make a 3 to 4 to 5 week run in the playoffs, right? And you do that every single year, that's a whole extra season of practices that you got going into your senior year.
Well, think about the teams, too, that are really good from the start, and maybe we get a lot of running clocks. And so you got a lot of second half where these guys are playing on Friday night, too, getting minutes. That's invaluable because the other teams are still playing their ones and they're getting to go against varsity guys on a pretty regular basis.
Guys, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to go into the Buckeye Corner, talk a little Ohio State, Texas. All right, guys, it's time for the sensational Stolly Player of the Week in our Power 5 teams. Nate, we'll start with you for your Player of the Week.
So mine, it goes back to one of my Diamond Dave Bowen best things of the week. It's Braxton Lee. If you put up over 400 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns, how can we pick anybody else? So yeah, that was an easy choice for me. Braxton Leaf is my sensational Stolly Player of the Week.
Well, I'm going to go with the guy that slings it, right? How about Zach Welch, 408 yards passing, and oh, by the way, 115 yards rushing also. How do you beat that, my friend?
I can beat it with young man from Pandora Gilboa named Ben Burkholder.
Yeah.
How about that? 27 carries, 122 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 2-point conversion. His Rockets upset Columbus.
That's a huge win.
Oh, a huge win.
Let me add to that real quick, just for Ben Burkholder to get the whole story. Not only did he score that 2-point conversion, he didn't know that's what was happening. He was on the sidelines cramping, trying to figure out how to get through that cramp when his coach said we're going for 2 because there was a penalty. He just had to go in and deal with it. So in the middle of cramping, he runs in, is able to get the 2-point conversion for the win.
How many cramps did you have to fight through for the broadcast?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
It's tight in there. You get in. You start getting a little comfortable. Now I was
He
smart.
looks up, but he's
Listen,
not
I brought my stadium seat with me. So I've learned. I've been doing this long enough. I was able to have a back with some armrest. I was very comfortable sitting.
Oh, you had a
the
nice
bleachers.
chair.
Absolutely.
Wow,
Well, when
that's
Nate
nice.
gets,
It was stationary. It didn't roll.
when people in the booth get crowded up on Nate, he gets like a puff fish and gets real big. Yeah.
Puffer fish?
Yeah, he
I'm a
does.
big guy.
All right, Miles, after week 1, who's your Power 5 team? As if we know who the best teams in the Lionel Land are after 1 week.
Well, it's a good guess, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's always safe to go with Marion Local.
What?
Yeah, and I have a feeling Marion Local will still be there next week. Good luck, Crestview. I commend you for taking that game. That's a tough ask. If you win that, man, everybody's going to remember. It's amazing. It's a good measuring stick, but I think Marion Local will still be there. Wapak, number 2, right? What a workmanlike victory they had on Friday. I'm going to go with Bath at number 3. Okay. Until someone stops that offense. How does that offense get stopped, right?
Like it.
Crestview at number 4. See, I do love you guys, Crestview. All you got to do is get 400 more yards rushing this week, and you'll be just fine. And then Liberty Benton, number 5. Liberty Benton, once they get Barbara settled in at quarterback, they're going to be fantastic. I think they were trying to figure out what kind of quarterback he's going to be. He's going to be a better running quarterback than more of a passing quarterback like Trevin Lieb a year ago, but they're going to be very dynamic on offense also.
Yeah, for me, so I went with, going from my number 5 team, I have LCC. I think that was a big win for them on Thursday night in a big spot. You're coming in with a new coach and all the things going around. They got a lot of talent on that team. Maybe not the greatest start on offense that they would have liked, but they found a way. They made the adjustments, and I think that it's a really talented team. So I have them at 5. 4, I have Minster. All these questions.
Yeah.
What is Minster going to do? They got to replace.
No Brogan Steffi.
They got to replace 22 guys that started last year. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? The same thing they did last year, and that is just score points and just win. They look fantastic against Fort Loramie. Then I have Wapak. Wapak is just doing what they do. As you mentioned, it's almost like an understated win, but what they just do the little things. They come out, they do what they got to do to win, and that's all that matters. And they looked like Wapak in doing it. And then I have Crestview. They put up over 60 points against. I was really impressed. I know that I know you want the sign that we're not Parkway, but listen, at the end of the day, Miles, you put up these types of numbers. There's a lot of teams that will play Parkway this year that come nowhere close to these numbers. Crestview still came out. They were dominant from start to finish. They played a complete game. I think they are easily one of the top 5 teams right now. And then Marion Local.
Wow.
Marion Local went in dominant fashion. And,
Really?
and they just
Marion Local number 1?
Yeah.
Really?
And they just continue to do what they do.
Hey, I hope for Parkway's case that's not continued, right?
No,
Yeah,
they're not. They still score. Listen, we're talking about what Crestview did. Parkway still scored 40 points. That offense still got off. It was a basketball score over.
So Parkway scored how many against Crestview?
42, I think.
41.
Okay, all right. And they got Marion Local this week.
They do.
Okay, all right.
Where are you going, Miles?
No.
Just asking really open-ended questions.
Just asking questions.
Makes for great TV.
Yeah, just asking questions.
Guys,
by the way, Nate, I like your pullover.
Oh, thanks. I like yours too, buddy.
This is
Not so much yours.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, this is what I wore in the picture. What a great picture. That is a great picture.
Could you say
2 of the 3 look good.
could you say it a little bit higher for us? We couldn't quite make out what you said.
Okay, here you go. Guys, number 5 for me, I've got Lima Central Catholic. What a big win for them over Shawnee. Love talking to Coach Stolley and Caden Falke. No, he did not. Did not copy.
I bet he has the same number 1.
I bet he does too.
Number 4, I've got the Spartans, Lima Senior. Look, hey,
12-7.
guys, they got a 12-7 win. That is a complicated offense to learn. And they had week 1. Look,
Is it?
Yes, it is.
You throw a quick screen over and over again, really?
Okay, I'm going to tell Bill Lawrence you you said that. I'm going to tell Bill.
He'll tell you how simple
I'll tell
it
you
is.
what, I'll tell you what, you're making a ton of friends this week, Miles.
With all new receivers, new linemen, Lima Senior's going to be
Ratings
okay.
plummeting all over the area right now.
I'll bet you they get 30 or more against Findlay.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming in at number 3, I got the Redskins from St. Henry. Man, that's a good team. It's a veteran team. It's a Charlie Whirling. They really laid it on Solana. Yeah, they're for real this year. Number 2, I've got the Wapakoneta Redskins. Look, if Marion Local wasn't here, Wapak could be number 1 every year. But number 1 for me is Marion Local. The beat just keeps going, and they are just an absolute juggernaut. How many in a row now, Miles?
65.
65. That modern day record is out there at 80. But guys,
It's only 5 away from 500 on the program.
Now, wait a minute. I think it's 120 now.
Is it 120?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought
It might be.
129.
Okay.
We'll look that up for next week.
Yes, we will,
That
absolutely.
might be one of the questions that people can send us in on
yes.
3 wise men at WTLW.com. What do you think?
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's a real address.
It is.
really-
It's
it's
real.
real.
Give him that passionate plea, Nate.
This is real. This isn't a bit. This isn't Miles doing Miles things. We want to hear from you.
Nate, look at you and I on the camera. We're nice and tan. Do you sleep in a coffin, Miles? You're so
I do.
white. Look
I
at
do.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you
It's
the
unbelievable.
live version of the puppet?
Yes, I know, right? We'll be back. Welcome back. It's time for the Buckeye Corner, and we're all ready for the big game, Ohio State, Texas, 12 noon in the Shoe Saturday. I can't wait, Nate. I'm sure your eyes are going to be glued to the station.
You know what? This is a real
Yeah.
funny bit we're doing. You know, unfortunately, I'll miss at least some of it. I'll be able to watch kickoff and some of those things. I'll be over in Delphus. Talk about for Delphus St. John's LCC game. But I will still be very much in tune watching the kickoff. Listen, it's not just that it's Ohio State and Texas. It's the start of college football. College football is back. We get to watch Ohio State almost every week. A couple of those pesky little bye weeks get in the way. But couldn't be more excited, and they get to kick it off at noon to get the season going. I love it. I love it.
I'm excited, too, that you went out and you bought a Will Howard jersey.
Oh, look at Ed's. It's great. Yeah.
I would show you the back of it, but I'm not standing up. So.
You want to show us the fit?
No.
I didn't realize that you could buy game-worn seersucker to the pad type jerseys. So, you know, it's cool.
Nate, what are you concerned most about with this Buckeye team this year?
Well, I mean, I think maybe not even so much for the year, just as it is getting started, is to how the new pieces will fit. There are new pieces in important roles, quarterback, running back. We got guys on the offensive, defensive side of the ball that are going to have to play a big role in what Ohio State does this year. How quickly they acclimate to Buckeye football and the Big Ten and what Ryan Day and that program needs out of them, I think is right now my biggest concern.
Miles, how about you?
Brian Hartline, right? Going into a game of this magnitude, first time he's actually calling a game. He's had the title of offensive coordinator, but he's never called a game, right? It's always been Ryan Day and Chip Kelly. But this is the first time he's going to have the actual play chart in his hands, and he's going to be calling those pivotal plays in big moments. Is he going to be a guy that shrinks in big moments, or is he going to have the right call? Is he going to be a pass-happy guy, or is he going to be a run guy? It's going to be a different world. I hope he's ready for it. I think he is.
Yeah, for me, the biggest concern is obviously the quarterback play. And I go back to what you, Nate, said about, replacing guys. And look, Julian's saying if how he plays, if he plays how I think he's going to play, I think we're going to be okay. My concern is, what if he doesn't? What if he gets hurt? What if he's not as effective? There's nobody behind him with any experience. We saw Lincoln Keenholz 2 years ago against Missouri as a freshman. Now, he's developed a lot, don't get me wrong, but there's nobody on that roster with quarterbacking game experience. So this is a new territory for the Buckeyes. I have every bit of confidence in saying, and Ryan Day and Brian Hartline and if the running game is effective, look, we know that if he throws the ball up in the air, our guys are going to catch it. They're the most talented group in the country, and that's not even close.
You like Jeremiah Smith?
I think he's really good.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys. Who's the one offensive player and one defensive player we can't lose?
So with as talented as the whole group is as a whole, I really don't think that we can afford to lose Jeremiah Smith to injury. He is going to take so much focus of defenses. They're going to do so many things to try to make sure that he's blanketed, covered over the top, at the line. He is going to draw so much attention that will open up the other guys and allow them to go freely. With him off the field, I think that you'll see defenses change. They'll be able to cover guys a little bit more effectively. They won't have to overload to one side to prevent him from getting the football. Defensively, I truly think, and I think it's probably been maybe since Mike Doss, that I thought that we had a safety that was
Mike Doss, love that guy.
that was as important
number two.
Number two.
that was important to this team as your number 2, Caleb Downs is. Caleb Downs is so much more than just pass coverage. He is a huge part of the run stop for Ohio State as well. He is somebody that he is probably the best defensive player in the country. He has to be on the field.
Those are good points. I just want to point out, though, the receiver room is probably as deep as anywhere in the country. So if Jeremiah Smith did go down, it's not like you're throwing to guys that don't know what you're doing. So hopefully he doesn't go down, but I think they have
So what you're
depth.
saying, in other words, we'll rephrase what you said. There's some really good points, but here's why you're wrong.
Yes. We should put that as subtitles up there.
Well, Danny, with that being said, I want to give you my 2 guys that they can't afford to lose. Number 1 on the offensive side, James Peoples. He is not your everyday Peoples. He's going to be an absolute stud at running back. Watch for him to be huge on Saturday because he's a Texas kid. He gets a chance to go against this Texas team. I think he's going to be a 1,400-yard type of running back. I think he's going to be one of the best running backs in Ohio State history. He's got speed. He's got power. He has it all. He's a home run hitter. He's going to be unbelievable. If he gets hurt, we got a lot of question marks behind him in the Ohio State running back room. On the defensive side, the 2 defensive tackles, McDonald and Edric Houston. Not a lot of depth there. Probably the smallest depth group in this Ohio State roster. Those 2 are really good, but if they get hurt, we got some major trouble.
Guys, for me, it goes back to the quarterback again, Julian Sand on the offensive side of the ball. There's just not that experience there behind center, and it just scares me to death if he gets hurt. And on the defensive side, look, Caleb Downs is a generational talent. I mean, this guy's going to go top 5 in the draft next year at the safety position.
Absolutely.
How do you lose a guy like that and recover? We've got some good guys. We've got some nice freshmen. We've got some players that can fill that role, but nothing. We've never seen a player at the safety position at Ohio State with this much talent. They're saying if Jeremiah Smith wasn't there, this would be the best player in college football, both sides of the ball.
He can play any one of those spots in the secondary, right? You want him to play boundary corner, he can do it. You want him to be field corner, he can do it. Strong, which he's moving to this year, free safety, he can play it all.
Yeah. But let me play, Miles here a little bit for a second. We have other safeties, and if he happens to go down, we'll just put another safety in there, and then we'll still have a safety. So we have a safety, and on the offensive side, there's other quarterbacks. So if he gets hurt, we have another quarterback that can play.
I don't sound like that, do I?
Well, let me paraphrase what you were saying. You're stupid, Nate. You're dumb. You don't know anything. You're ugly. I'm smart. I'm Miles. Yeah.
Yep. He said it with his eyes.
Exactly.
He said it with his eyes.
The people have demanded. All right, guys, let's talk about this season. Give me your predictions, Nate. Look, I remember a guy by the name of Nate the Great who could see things in the future. He reminds me of you.
A couple weeks ago.
Yes, give me a prediction, a record. How's it going to play out?
Well, I got to be honest with you, fellas. I found out that guy might have been a quack. So
cheater.
I had to go find a different guy to help me with all of my fortune. Nate the Fantastic.
Nate the Fantastic.
I know the names are a little similar,
Nate
but I'm
the
telling you,
average.
I believe this guy very different, and I think much more accurate.
Can't wait to meet him.
I ultimately believe that I think Ohio State's going to lose a game, potentially 2 on this schedule.
Oh, sure.
Luckily, we're in this new era. You can afford to do that. I think 2 losses still easily gets them into the playoffs. Ultimately, what all this is going to matter is at the end of the season that these guys are playing the right way. They have a lot of games to work through these things. And I think we're going to see them back in the playoffs. I hope on a long run, a lot of this, it's hard right now to be objective and not be the fan and say they're going to go and defend this natty and they're going to win a national championship. This team has a lot of questions before I think you can confidently as a fan, looking objectively, say that they're going to win another natty.
Yeah, the great thing about it is, will we ever see an undefeated national champion again?
Maybe not.
Probably not, right? It's okay to lose during the regular season now. Ryan Day's teams, what do? They lose 2 games every year, right? So they're probably going to lose 2 games. It just don't want it to be in the playoffs. So lose your 2 games in the regular season, get to the playoffs, then we'll go on your run right there, Ryan Day. I think they lose 2 games. Unfortunately, I think one is going to be in the playoffs, about the semifinal. It was a special group it was a year ago, so strong with the leadership. I don't know if they have that again this year.
I'm going to be super fan, and I'm going to say this, guys. We're going to go undefeated, and here's why. There's not a roster on our schedule as good as ours. There really isn't. And you want to talk about the guys being on cloud nine after that 4-game playoff run, what Ryan Day has done to instill in those guys the confidence they have. Julian Sand's going to get better. The run game's going to get better. We got a veteran offensive line.
Yeah, that's a key.
Anytime you got a veteran offensive line, you're going to win games.
Right.
Again, there's not a team on our schedule that we shouldn't be favored to beat. We've got Penn State at home. Now, we do have to go to Michigan. I know it's a rivalry game, but I like the mindset of this team. I don't know that we're going to win the national championship. I just think that it would be a tall task to play another 4-game series like we did last year, but I do like us in every game this year, and I like us to beat Texas Saturday 38-21. What say you?
I think that, unfortunately, the Buckeyes are going to start the season 0-1. I just think that you're asking Julian Sane to step up in a big spot for his first game. I don't think that they're going to get it done. I think this is going to be one of their losses, but I do think they get a chance to avenge it at the end of the season in the playoffs, and I think that they'll win at that time.
Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. I have 34-21. Here's how it's going to play out. James Peoples is going to have 150 yards rushing. Ohio State wins this one, but it's close. Okay, it's always close up to the end. Ohio State's going on that drive where they're going to clinch the game, okay? Oh, no, Max Clare, the tight end, he goes down. He can't finish the game. They bring in Ryan Hamby. He comes in out of nowhere. They throw it into Ryan Hamby in the end zone against Texas, and this time he catches it, and the Buckeyes win.
Ryan Hamby's like 35 years old now.
2005, baby. He still dropped it.
That's 20 years ago.
This is a chance at redemption.
He's probably 38 now.
Well, listen,
Ryan Hamby catches it. This time we beat
the
Texas.
new rules in college. He probably still has some eligibility
You
left.
know what we can do?
What's that?
We can ask Mean Megan.
Well, yeah, Mean Megan.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Mean Megan, does Texas come into the shoe and beat our beloved Buckeyes? Yeah! Mean Megan!
I'm so sad I missed this the first time. I'm so happy I got to be here.
Oh,
for
that's
that.
right. You didn't
She's
get
also
to-
terrifying, standing behind you.
Gosh.
That is terrifying.
I looked at her and it looked like she was going to burn my house with her eyes. Firestarter too. Oh my gosh.
that is.
It's a lock.
I mean,
Mean Megan. She's always right.
Buckeyes are going to win. Guys, another great show.
Was it?
Let's. Well, you didn't make any friends this week.
I mean, I got a feeling we're actually going to get some letters on that email address.
Wait,
unfortunately.
let me get it for you right here.
Okay, yeah, get that out there.
All right, Nate, one more passionate plea.
This is real. This is not Miles doing a bit. We want to hear from you. This isn't going to be fake. Please look at
Send
the
your
email,
questions.
take it in, send us your emails, send us your thoughts. Tell us how wrong you think Miles is on a pretty regular basis. Well, listen, tell us how the camera shouldn't be on Danny as often as it is. That's fine as well. Tell me Megan to smile just like once, and we'll be okay with that too. Whatever it is, send it in. We want to hear from you guys.
We need that Sarah McLachlan music playing behind you on that, don't we?
Won't you send the wise men 7 cents a day?
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
With all that being said, it's time to end the show, man. It's time to end the show,
All
buddy.
right, thanks a lot, Lionel. You've been watching The Three Wise Men.